bodies.
Yeah, we're trying to keep the audio levels low.
We'll do our best. So, yes, though. Bodies. If you are unaware, it is a very low-key movie, it appears. I didn't even know this movie existed until a certain person in the chat suggested we go see it. And the first thing I thought was, it has Pete Davidson in it. Fuck. And then my second thought was, oh, it's made by A24. Okay, we should be good then. So,
yes.
Not a lot of coverage on it. I've noticed that there's only, 2 trailers for it, and then that was it. I didn't even see the trailers until, before we made this video.
Yeah, the only thing I saw one video on YouTube that was reviewing the movie, and then I went, don't know what that is, and then I looked it up, and then I saw there was a horror comedy, and I was like, alright, I gotta watch it, and make a video on it.
Yeah, there hasn't really been a lot. I think I've seen a couple, YouTubers talking about it, but other than that, it's kind of cool. It makes me feel kind of movie hipster, that I'm just watching, a really, niche movie that doesn't have a lot of, crazy people in it, except Pete Davidson and Lee Pace, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Bodies. First part of this, we're not going to talk about spoilers. It's going to be kind of hard, because this is a very happening-ish movie.
Yeah.
We'll do
Don't watch the trailers.
Yeah, don't watch the trailers. Do not watch the trailers.
No.
We figured it's... Because we didn't watch any of the trailers, and I will say that probably enhanced my experience, because I genuinely wasn't able to pinpoint who was going to die where. Watching the trailer, I could figure out who was going to die where pretty quickly. So, yeah.
Yeah, the basic plot... The only thing... Okay, so my opinions are a little different on the movie than Jaydyn's. But basically what happens is a bunch of teenagers, it's shocking, go to this big mansion because it's a hurricane out, and I guess people throw hurricane parties. I'd never heard of that.
They do. It's a thing.
I didn't know that.
I haven't lived in Mississippi for a year. It is a thing.
They're throwing a hurricane party, and in the middle of it, they decide to play this game called Bodies, which, from what I recall, someone gets tagged as the killer, lights go out, and kind of like Werewolf.
In a way, if you played murder in elementary school, it's a pretty similar deal.
It's a basic murder mystery game that they're playing, and then
actual deaths.
Yeah, people end up actually dead.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just talk about the quality during this section, and then spoilers we'll get into what we really
the
thought.
movie's hard to talk about because even me watching the movie, I didn't know what was going on for a lot of it, because it's very all over the place. It's
pretty all over the place, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad movie, because it doesn't feel like it's discombobulated or unfocused. It kind of felt, at least to me, it felt a bit more like it was trying to keep your attention by having all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot going on all the time, pretty much. But then they would stop occasionally and they would have conversations. But what they were talking about and what they were saying...
Yeah. See, the thing was, going into this movie, I didn't know it was supposed to be a horror comedy. So when I was watching some of the things they were saying, I genuinely... There was a noise out there. I genuinely did not know if this was supposed to be funny or if this was supposed to be genuinely serious dialogue. 'Cause some of the dialogue, I'm sitting there you know for a fact there are some teens who would say this, and I think it's legitimately something good to say.
Yeah. So
because of that, I felt a little confused, but then I later found out it was a horror comedy, so I was like, okay, they did it properly. It was funny when it needed to be funny.
It's not in your face comedy.
Yeah, it's not Marvel humor.
It's not parody either. Scary Movie. There was a moment where I was like, is this going to be Scary Movie? Where it's joke, and it's stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Over the top batshit.
The humor is more so in the fact that the characters are stupid. We have to kind of get that out of the way. The characters are all 100% stupid. I don't think
there's not a smart character, really.
Yeah, the only character you could argue is smart is the main chick in the movie, the main blonde girl. I'll look up her name right now, the actress's name, just for...
Yeah, she looks like Starlight.
Yeah, she looks like B-level Starlight is what I'd say she looks like. But I mean, really, when it comes down to it, you don't really have an intelligent character to guide the characters, so you're all just kind of Okay, Maria Bakalova is her name.
Okay.
Yeah, so Maria Bakalova, she's like the main girl. She's kind of the smart girl, but she doesn't like take control of the situation. It's kind of just people do stupid shit, and she's kind of just
She
along for the ride.
watches. She's in the background
Yeah,
lot.
she's along for the ride. It's a bunch of dumb rich kids, so don't
Oh yeah, they're all rich. They own the mansion.
Yeah, they own the mansion. It's all a bunch of dumb rich kids with a questionably aged man.
Yeah.
But overall, though, I mean, story, I'd say it's pretty good. We'll dive into that deeper. I guess we'll get into more technical aspects of the film now.
Yeah, the movie's very colorful.
Yes.
And that is great. The underwater shot's really cool.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole first act of the movie is them kind of showing off their camera
house.
techniques, the house, going around doing cool stuff.
You got like all the, it's introducing the characters, and you're seeing like how cool the place they live at is. It looks like a decent place to live at.
Yeah, it's a decent. It's a big mansion, but
yeah, it's quite big. I would kill to have a place like that to film. They did pretty good. There's also like a good usage, I think, of the because like when the lights go out, you only have like one light usually per character.
I will say this is one of those movies where if you're like not watching it on a really good screen, you're not gonna be able to see shit.
Yeah, the best lighting I think though comes when like they got the glow sticks to like see in the dark. There was like the one girl, the podcast chick. It was Rachel Senoy's character. I'm like Googling these actors and I feel like such a professional coverage like reporter now. But
Alice.
movie. Alice in the movie. I think she did like the coloring with her was pretty nice just because she was like covered in like glow sticks the entire time. So you have like neon blue and purple like in the darkness and everything. I will say the acting was pretty good in this movie too. There wasn't really anyone who was bad. They all played their characters pretty well.
Yeah, they played the characters how they needed to be.
Yeah, again, you're not getting too much variety in terms of characters. Everyone here is kind of stupid, but they're a different type of stupid is what they all are. There's like emotionally stupid, there's socially stupid, there's just stupid, which is Pete Davidson's character. Pete Davidson's character in this movie is fucking hilarious, I will say.
He's so dumb.
He's dumb. I remember I looked over to Caleb and I said, Pete Davidson's character in this movie is fun to watch, but if you ever met him in real life, you would regret every interaction just because he'd be so horrible to talk to. He was just like this coked out, like, insecure fucking idiot is what he was. Granted, they were all pretty coked out, but like...
Yeah, they're all on drugs.
Oh yeah, they're all on drugs, which it was funny. I looked over at Caleb at one point, like, a character died. And one of them, like, just took a hit of cocaine, and I was like, yeah, that's a great idea in a situation like this. It's a murder amongst you. Let's get high on coke. So, that's the level of stupidity we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. Let's see, what else was there with the movie?
It's very hard to talk about this movie without, like...
You can only really talk about the technical aspects of it.
Because it's a murder mystery for the most part. And so, like, anything... That's why, like, I didn't even want to watch... When I even saw there was a murder mystery, that even solidified me not watching the trailer. Because I was like, no, it's a murder mystery, I'm going to go in blind.
I was able to figure out Knives Out just by the trailers.
Yeah, that's why... Shouldn't even make trailers for murder mysteries.
I mean, make trailers, but, I mean, you gotta show less and less of the movie at that point, because when characters die, like I said earlier, well, I would have been able to figure out that person would have died, considering how little they're in the trailer. But yeah, stuff like that. The music, like at least the original soundtrack for this movie was pretty decent. It had like a nice little creepy crawly like feel to it whenever.
Yeah, the movie was okay. The movie has some cheap jump scares.
It does. But I will say it doesn't pull like the violin like the like whenever it happens.
It's mostly fake outs.
Yeah.
But they get you. But yeah, and it's the gore's cool. Mm-hmm. Even though I was hoping for more, I was hoping for like violence. It
is a pretty bloody affair, to say the least. Like there's some blood involved, but you're not gonna be watching people's heads get cut off.
Yeah, the movie isn't very R.
Yeah.
It could have passed as a PG-13 movie, honestly. I think the only thing that made it R was it had a lot of drug use.
It was the drug use and language, but even then, there's a lot of PG-13 movies that have drugs in it, so I feel like if they just hadn't been saying fuck, they probably would have gotten away with the PG-13 rating.
It was heavy on the fucks and the drugs and the Will's like they're snorting cocaine.
Yeah. There's not even any nudity in here. Like
yeah, no nudity. I was like, this is a teenage.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it wasn't even really slasher.
No, I mean it's a teenage.
That's the thing. Like you're going into this movie. We didn't even know what.
Yeah, we didn't know what to expect.
It was.
All I knew was that it was like people dying in a house and someone's out for blood. Yeah. So yeah, what would you rate this movie out of 10?
Out of 10.
I go by the 10 scale.
Yesterday, I would have given it a 6, like right after seeing the movie, because the movie, for me, it being the horror comedy that I was hoping it would be, the horror side, it was cheap jump scares, and for the comedy side, there wasn't a lot that I don't know how to explain that.
You had different expectations.
I had different expectations going into the movie. That's why I was so low when the movie ended. Now I'm bumping it up to like a 7.
Yeah.
Because thinking of once like the movie, you think about it, it
sits with you and everything.
It sits with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you're able to change your expectations and be like, all right.
Exactly.
How was the movie outside of expectations?
See, on the flip side, I feel like for me, I was happy with it because I had one expectation and it was met very happily. So I was like, "Why would you look at that?" So I wasn't really upset with the movie. I mean, we'll talk about it more in the spoilers part. I have a couple errors with the movie, but overall, I'd say yeah, it's a 7 for me. It didn't change my life, but I will say I had a good time.
Yeah, it didn't like break.
It wasn't breaking ground, but I will say it was money well spent. They put effort into the movie, time well spent. So
yeah,
definitely a good movie. Go check it out. I mean, if you don't want to go see like Bullet Train, or if you can't see Bullet Train or something like that, you know. But yeah, overall, good film.
Yeah, really good. Now we're gonna talk about spoilers.
Spoiler time. Pete Davidson dying first. that was the main reason I was happy with this movie, because I remember I saw. Like I said, Pete Davidson's in the movie. I saw it was A24, heard the plot, and I was like, Pete Davidson better die first. That better be like exactly what happens, and what do you know, he dies first.
Yeah, so should we just go through beginning, just go through the movie?
Yeah, we can just kind of go, we won't do a play-by-play. We'll kind of just try to follow chronologically how this whole thing goes. So, I mean...
The movie, actually, the first scene was exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
The very first thing we saw, I was actually expecting boobs.
I was expecting them to go a little bit further, too, because the opening scene is, like, a lesbian kiss scene. So I was like, okay, we're getting to that. You know, it's A24. You know, it's going to be one of those, you know, teenage movies. They're
inclusive. They're doing their thing.
Oh, yeah. You got a pretty inclusive cast. You got...
very, actually.
You got lesbians. You got bisexuals. You got... it's not just white people, too.
Mm-hmm. They kill off the guys first.
Yeah, the guys get killed, which I was expecting to happen.
I was honestly, after Pete Davidson died, I was like, I bet they're going to murk the other guy.
Oh, yeah, I was like, Lee Pace isn't going to last too long, which we'll get into his death soon, because his death is very frustrating. But, anyways, it's funny when you think about it, but on just a logical scale, it's like, why the fuck would you do that? Like... But anyways, though, so Pete Davidson dying first, I was pretty good. Nothing really much happens in the movie up until, the deaths happen. It's kind of just teenagers acting stupid and being insecure dumbasses is what they are, so...
Yeah, the whole beginning is just setting up the characters. They immediately don't like... Or there's a fake vibe with our main... the girlfriend of the blonde chick. Yeah,
her name, I believe it was... Well, in the movie, she was Sophie. Amandla. Not Amanda. Amandla. Amandla Stenberg, her name is. Yeah, so...
What was her movie name?
Sophie.
Okay, so a lot of they don't like Sophie at first.
Sophie's, supposedly a two-faced bitch, apparently.
Yeah, she was, fuck, what was it?
She was in rehab.
Yeah,
she got out of, cocaine and stuff.
A little bit like Evil Dead, where, the main character is
a recovering addict,
and they bring up later in the movie that I really like.
Yeah.
It was, you know what, this movie might get better as I talk about it.
See, the thing about the movie is that this is maybe where it'll lose some people. It's important to pay attention at the beginning as to who everybody is and what their problems are, because then it's going to become more important near the end of the movie.
Yeah, they actually, stuck with That's like characters evolve through the movie. More like devolve. Like the
Yeah.
characters aren't getting better. You're finding more out about them, and they're making them worse.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like the fact that like she's a recovering addict, like they brought that back later in the movie. It wasn't like, okay, that's just a character quirk. It was like, no, that's actually a big part of the plot, is what it is. So there was that. But yeah, you find out that Sophie's an addict. The main chick is Russian.
Yeah, if I'm gonna watch this movie again, I need subtitles. There were
that sounds effed up, but
it does. But there were 3 specific moments in the movie, I think, where she said something and I was like, I have no... It's when she mutters.
Yeah, she mumbles a lot in the movie. That's her biggest problem.
She has a very thick Russian accent, and she talks very quietly, and she mumbles, and I'm just I'm sorry. I don't know what you're saying.
The worst part is she doesn't say a lot, so it doesn't give you the opportunity to get used to it. Like... For example, like Bane's voice in The Dark Knight Rises, you get used to it after a bit, even though it sounds weird and it's hard to understand at times.
Yeah, you can dialect.
Yeah, whereas her though, like, no offense to her, because she was good in the movie.
She's
good.
Very good.
And when you understand her, like, it's not like every word's a fucking puzzle, but it was just the problem was a couple times I was like, bro, what are you saying again?
There was one, and it's in like an important scene. Like they're all looking at her, and they're like, "What do you think about this?" And then she goes. In this thick Russian accent. And I'm like, no! What did you say?
Could have done a couple retakes. There. Main chick, she's Russian. She's dating Sophie. Sophie's just a recovering addict. You find out that Alice is just a podcast chick.
Yeah, she's a podcast.
She's dating a dude who they qualify as a vet. We're not going to tell you which one, though. And then Pete Davidson's just the son of the people who own the mansion, and he's a straight up, like, coked out weirdo.
Was he related to any of them?
No, I don't think so.
I thought he was related to Alice. Because he was kind of protective of her and the guy.
I don't know on that one. I don't think he was related, because if you look at, like, and I just noticed things... if you look at the walls, it's just pictures of him. Yeah, like Pete Davidson's got pictures. Well, funny fact, by the way, when I saw there's like a photo of him when like he's supposed to be like a kid on the wall, and I looked over at Caleb and I said, "How much you want to bet that's legit Pete Davidson's like high school photo that they took for that?" They just were like, "Where's your high school yearbook? We'll take a picture of that. Here you go." Like easy as that. But and then you find out that. And then you find out, what was Emma's quirk again?
She was very,
anxious, maybe?
Yeah, I was gonna say she was very aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive and
anxious. She was the one that was quick to call people out.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, I think it was you. No, I think it was you.
She cried pretty easily, too. Because remember...
Emma? Oh, yeah. I'm getting Emma confused with.
If we knew the actresses' names,
yeah.
See, the problem is that everybody in this movie is a similar level of stupid, so they all kind of blend together at a point. So you're just kind of like, everyone's stupid.
Emma was the actress.
Yeah, the actress. She was kind of anxious because she cried. If that was real.
Yeah, we don't know if she was really crying or not. They made that a point in the movie. They're like, she cries the most, but she's also like the best actress, so we never know if it's real or not.
I mean, she also needed Xanax though at like numerous points in the movie, so there's that.
God.
She almost had a Juice WRLD. But anyways, we're getting off track. So Pete Davidson dies first, which was pretty fucking cool. It's actually kind of brutal too, because he like gets straight up sliced in the neck, but you don't see it, but you see the aftermath. He's like walking forward.
That's the first jump scare, kind of, is him like approaching the door.
Yeah, he like slams into like the...
And he has his neck all cut open.
Yeah, so that was like that's when the movie picks up. Like the first... Everything before that's kind of just character setup, nothing's really happening, and then when Pete Davidson dies, that's when the movie, like, that's when shit starts going down.
Because the game isn't actually a big part of the movie. The game that they play, the bodies, really only incites an argument.
It creates tension to lead to problems. It's not like Truth or Dare, where that's, like, the point of the game. It's like, no, this was just another cog in the wheel.
It's not one of those, like, what are the rules of the game? We gotta follow the rules.
Yeah, follow the rules and the escape room and all that other stuff.
They're just all in the house, and people start dropping.
Yeah, exactly.
Pete Davidson just so happens to be first.
Yeah, Pete Davidson's first. This is the second time I've seen him die in a movie first. Suicide Squad, he took a shot right to the face. This time he got his neck cut open. I'm looking forward to the trilogy of first Pete Davidson deaths. And then Lee Pace dies next.
Yeah.
Ronan from Guardians of the Galaxy, if you're unaware. But
so, after Pete Davidson dies, they start all suspecting one another, but their first guy to guess is
Lee Pace. But that's because...
That's because he went to bed first.
He went to bed first. He had problems with Pete Davidson, and he was a vet. Yeah. And then they found his backpack, too.
Mm-hmm. They found his backpack, and he had, like, a knife in there, which, this is what's frustrating, is there's, like, they're making good points while they're finding it. They're like, it's a hurricane! Like,
yeah, it's like, bro, it's a hurricane. Shit goes down, like, you gotta be ready for that situation. It's a thing. When you're in Mississippi and, hurricane's about to come down, you're ready.
They go into his room, and he's not there. He's not in his bed.
He's instead in the gym.
Yeah, he's in the gym, and he's wearing this bright blue, like... face mask.
They said it was okay. Alice said it was for like seasonal depression, like he needed like sleep therapy or something. That's the thing. You don't get a lot of background information on these characters aside from the trait they give you, because the truth is you don't really know much about Lee Pace's character. Like he's a 40-year-old dude hanging out with like a bunch of like 19 and 20-year-olds, so it's super weird.
Yeah.
But you don't. All you know is that he's Alice's boyfriend. Well, quote boyfriend, but like.
Oh yeah. How long have you known?
How long have Greg?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I mean, that is accurate, though, to be honest. You know for a fact. Like, I've seen it. There are girls I'm like, I've known him for 2 weeks. He's my boyfriend. It took me a full month to get into a relationship with that one. Granted, not much better, but But yeah, you don't really get a lot of information on, like, Lee Pace's character just because he's just sort of he's just a weirdo.
Yeah, he creeps on them, kind of. And he gets immediately decked by Pete Davidson.
Yeah, he gets into a fight with Pete Davidson. You don't really know much about his personality. It's kind of just assumed he's there to just get drunk and have fun, to be honest. But, like, you don't really know why he's hanging out with this young chick other than he's supposedly her boyfriend. You don't know.
Yeah, Pete Davidson from the start has a conversation with Sophie about how he doesn't like him, and he gets weirded out by his presence.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable, but like...
Yeah, and so he's not in his bed, he's in the gym, he's wearing his mask for seasonal depression, and they all go in there, they lift his mask up, and...
All holding knives, by the way.
Yeah, they all have weapons pointed
with
at
blood on them from Pete Davidson, and they all are, like, wide-eyed crazy, and they're all stressed and tense. So this is a great, thing to do to a person.
And so he gets up, freaked out. He thinks it's the game at first.
Yeah, because
he died first in the game, technically, so he just left.
Yeah, so they're all like, oh, you killed Pete Davidson. And he's like, oh, it's all part of the game, isn't it?
I didn't do that. I died first. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and then no one sat down to, like, talk to him.
Yeah, they all kept... kind of, to be fair, they all were, like... 90% sure he was the guy who killed them, Pete Davidson. But they were not thinking. Really.
They weren't thinking properly is the problem. Because, like, again, you walk in on a dude, everyone's got a knife, everyone's got wide eyes, and they're looking crazy. You got people probably on cocaine as well. You got blood on you.
He's probably on drugs.
Yeah, like, and you're all, like, screaming, you killed our friend! This isn't going to end well, so...
Yeah, and they make it pretty apparent that he is, like, calm down. He's trying to de-escalate.
Yeah, but they don't want to.
Because his de-escalating is him... He ends up getting kind of physical with him, but
they attack first.
They jump into him, and then he starts getting violent back. And he is trying to get the knife...
To defend himself, yeah.
To basically defend himself, because all of them are jumping him, basically. And then, right when he gets the knife, our main blonde chick whacks the shit out of him from the back of the head.
With a cleaver.
With a cleaver?
Yeah.
I thought it was a weight.
No, she gets him with a cleaver, because she stabs him in the back of the head. Like, she hits him in the back of the head, the blood starts going, then she just does it again. Like,
I'm pretty sure it was a weight.
You watch and tell us, was it a cleaver or a weight?
It was a weight, because she got him 2 times.
Yeah.
She whacked him the once,
He falls down and
falls
then
down,
finishes him off.
Which I don't know how to think about her second finishing move. When she went kill, I went, whoa.
That was why I was sitting there thinking, is it probably her as the killer?
Yeah, that's when I thought it was her, because I was like, she has already succeeded at, like, getting away with a murder.
Oh, yeah. Because at that point, you just straight up killed somebody. You clearly have, like, the killer instinct on you. Not only that, but, you know, it's a movie, camera tricks. You can just cut away when characters do things, like we've seen in plenty of movies.
Yeah, because at first, she wasn't there when Pete Davidson died. She was the one who, technically, she first saw him.
Yeah. You don't actually see Pete Davidson, die at that point in the movie. You just see he walks up with a broken neck or a sliced neck. So there's that. But... yeah, so they take out, like, the funniest character and then the most logical character, arguably, out instantly. So now we're down to 4, I think it was like 4, 5.
5.
Down to 5 coked out rich girls who are not thinking properly at all to figure out who the killer is. So yeah, now you got the 2 dudes dead. Like we said, you're just down to, 5 coked out, rich chicks. Don't know what the hell they're doing. And then after that, it's kind of just them. I think at this point in the movie, they were just under the assumption that they had defeated the villain and everything. And then that's when Emma gets some Xanax and mysteriously appears dead at the bottom of the stairs.
At first, I thought she was killed maliciously because of the wound, but then they pan up, which I really liked. That was cool. They showed all the blood from the stairs. She had fallen down the stairs.
I actually noticed that even like beforehand, like when I saw like she was on the floor and I was like, hold up, and I saw that there were stairs like that had blood on them, and then what do you know, Russian chick comes down, and I whispered to Caleb, I was like, all right, I think it's her now, because now she just walked down the stairs after, and I was like,
the person who came down who was it?
It was the Russian chick. The main chick.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's why I was sitting there thinking it's probably her, because, like, again, camera cuts, so I was, like, thinking she's probably straight up just pushed her down the stairs, there's blood on the stairs, and she just walked down. It's probably her, so...
I thought it was Sophie that walked down.
No, it was the Russian chick. Alice was, like, terrified, and I think it was Sophie that, like, found her, because remember, Alice crawled over the body. Yeah.
No, Alice found.
Yeah, Alice found the body because she crawled onto it.
Mm-hmm. And then... what's the other chick's name? The chick, the angry one, the one that keeps calling people out. Jordan came next, and then
Russian chick came down the stairs.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, she's dead. So now they're like, "Oh my God, we didn't actually get the killer." It's like a game of Among Us. You know what I mean? So fun stuff. And then after that, this is just a bit of a sidetrack. Caleb and I both thought we were fucking retarded. They kept mentioning Max.
Oh, yeah, there's a character that they keep saying isn't there. He's just gone. But they keep saying his name.
Yeah, and you never see him up until the very end, so Caleb just looked at me and he said, okay, am I fucking retarded? Did I, like, miss somebody? Like, where's Max? And I'm like...
who's Max?
I genuinely was like, I don't recall a Max either, so I'm just thinking, like, either there's a big reveal coming or bad quality of the movie, which... I will say it was kind of shitty that they put emphasis on Max, even though you've never seen Max, so it's like, I don't know who that is. Like, who is this Max character? Does he walk around with knives? Because maybe it is him. But so yeah, they were talking about Max at this point in the movie until Emma dies. And then after that, now this was like the funny part was when they get the fucking gun and shit. They flip out and then accuse the Russian chick of being the one. Yeah, they start accusing
her, and then they kick her out of the house.
Yeah, they kick her out in the middle of a storm.
Did they? Oh, because they looked her up online, and they said they didn't see any of her, anyone with her name on the graduate list of the college that she said she went to.
Yeah, so they're like, you're a faker, and not only that, but they were like... ooh, you found the body, and then they were like, also, you came down the stairs when Emma died, so they're putting 2 and 2 together, and then kick her out and everything. She comes back in. She across like a vent, I think it was.
She sees through the window.
Yeah,
first,
Jordan's got the
gun. Getting a gun,
a pistol, to be precise,
and so. Which they already established early in the movie that they don't like guns.
Yeah, they're anti-gun.
They're anti-guns, and so one of them having one is like, what the fuck are you doing?
Pretty out of character for them too.
And so she sneaks back into the house and immediately goes which I didn't know she was doing. She immediately goes up and confronts them, and it's like she's got a gun.
Yeah.
And calls her out. And she empties her pockets, no gun, but she was the killer in the game, which earlier they had made it a point that for some reason Alice, I think it was.
Alice tried to make the point, but she failed because she was going like, "Oh, it's following the order." Like they try to psych you out into thinking like there's a supernatural element maybe because she's like, "Oh, it's following the order of the game."
Yeah.
You know, Pete Davidson died, Lee Pace died, and then Jordan's like, "Well, they died out of order, so that doesn't make any sense."
Mm-hmm. And so once Jordan is revealed to be like the game murderer,
yeah,
Alice starts freaking out.
Which, okay, all I'm gonna say is that this just goes to show how stupid the characters are, because it's just
they're very back and forth on who they think.
Yeah, they switch up like I think 3 times.
They're
in this
obviously
scene alone.
not very good friends.
They're not good friends. They're high. They don't know, like, they're very scared as well, so that's making it even worse. But, like, right when she pulled out the thing and, like, it said, like, oh, she's the murderer, I was like, okay, well, now I know you're not the murderer. Just because the fact that they were going off of, like, oh, you were the murderer in the game as evidence, I was like, that's fucking stupid. Why would you ever go off that? Like, how superstitious are you? Like,
they also really try to make you think that it's Jordan.
They do.
I think, because she's the more aggressive one. She calls people out first. She's the first one to, like, be like, I think it was you.
Yeah.
Which, if anything, later in the movie, she was... Well, in the moment, I can be like, all right, I can commend that.
Yeah.
Later
she was a very
on,
decisive and controlling personality, I will say. She was the one that took action more than any of the other characters.
Yeah, later in the movie, it just fucks up.
Yeah.
And because they start questioning her, and she pulls out the gun. Why does she pull out the gun again?
She pulled out the gun, I think, because, like, they were just getting heated, is what it was. Because they're just a bunch of stupid, like, people. They don't know, like, fucking guns and shit, you know what I mean? So, pulled out the gun, and right when she pulled out the gun, I hate to say it, like, this was the biggest problem with the movie. After a point, it kind of got predictable. Because I was like, okay, well, she's gonna kill Alice with the gun.
Yeah, once the gun got whipped out, I was like, someone's gonna kill in an accident.
Yeah, I was like, someone's gonna get killed in an accident, and it's not gonna be one of the 2 couples, and I highly doubt Jordan's gonna shoot herself, so I was like, it's gonna be Alice. Alice is gonna be the one to take the hit, and that's exactly what happens. She
shoots her purposefully at first.
Yeah, in the leg.
Yeah, like, it's not like an oops. She, like, because the gun was down, and she pointed it up, aimed, and shot her in the leg.
Yeah.
And she tried to be like, oh.
They got into, like, it was a drama feud, though, is what that one was. That was the huge thing. The last part of this scene here is just a bunch of drama. It's like, oh, well, your girlfriend fucked me, and then I fucked your girlfriend. Yeah,
and they reveal
check
a lot
the messages,
of
and by the way, I don't like your podcast, and oh, by the way, you're a piece of shit, and oh, you're racist, and, like, it's just, like, that scene is funny, but I guess if you're looking for, like, an actual conflict resolution here, it's super frustrating.
Yeah.
Because it's just characters throwing drama at each other and being like, this is why you're the killer, because you fucked my girlfriend, and it's like, that doesn't mean anything. So it's like, it doesn't make any sense.
They're just trying to get back at each other, because they keep, like, revealing something, and then they're like, alright, let's just reveal everything, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like, cat's out of the bag, ice is broken, everyone's just yelling all these, like, profanities and all these things they hate about each other. Again, they're not good friends. So.
Yeah, they point out, going back to the main character, not the main character, Sophie, the argument that I like that she brought up was that they're all doing coke in front of her, and she's like the recovering addict, and all her friends are doing all these drugs around her, and it was like when she does it, it's a problem, but she can be around a bunch of these people who are
which was another thing too.
They did point out though that she was the one who OD'd, and they had to take her to the hospital, and
but still, again, I understand that there are people that are just this fucking stupid in real life, but you would think after one of your friends OD'd, you'd be like, guys, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. And maybe we also, if you're gonna keep doing it, maybe you shouldn't do it in front of your friend who just got out of recovery and shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just saying, granted, again, people are just stupid, but that was just something that was irking me for a bit. I was like, why are you guys doing coke when your friend's a recovering addict? It's such a shitty thing to do. It's like going up to a homeless person and eating McDonald's. It's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So yeah, that happens. They get into their huge fight. it all ends up in like a huge like pile on, just a giant rumble pit with all of them with the guns. And I was like, yeah. And then the shot's gonna go off and it's gonna accidentally kill Alice, which sure enough, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, so Alice gets shot in the leg, and then they all try fighting for the gun, and then Alice gets shot in the head.
She gets shot in the throat, actually.
Oh,
you can see the bullet too, which was fucked. That was when they want to get graphic in this movie, they can. It's just not too gory, but it was a good detail that like you actually get to see where the shot went. So then that happens, and then it's game on. Like they're just fighting each other at that point.
Because Jordan still has the gun.
Yeah, Jordan has the gun, and she's trying to take down Sophie, and they get into like their brawl. Which
Sophie's trying to de-escalate right now.
She is.
She's now like they're both like, just put the goddamn gun down.
Put the gun down.
And she's going up the stairs. They're following her up the stairs.
I don't understand this.
Where did the Russian chick come from?
She came from the top of the stairs, which doesn't make any sense because the last clip you see is of her downstairs.
She's downstairs. She teleports up the fucking stairs.
She teleports up the unless there's like another staircase and she quickly ran up, but you don't even hear the footsteps. With that right, she would have had to have
gone around Jordan because Jordan's backed up against the stairs, pointing the gun down.
Yeah, exactly. So point is, you see the Russian chick at the bottom of the stairs, and then suddenly she's at the top of the stairs.
She's at the top of the stairs and boom!
Yeah, and she fucking like Jason Bournes her and throws her off the fucking balcony, which was pretty fucking sick, to be honest. Like, but that was actually kind of cool.
She landed on all this glass, all these bottles, and she's like,
yeah, that was pretty. She had a pretty gnarly death, I will say. She had all like this. Caleb actually pointed out you can see like one of the shards like went directly in the back of her neck. That was
that sucks.
Yeah, so that happened, but the whole time she's like saying check her text messages.
Check her text, because she's the one that Sophie supposedly slept with Jordan while dating the Russian chick.
Yeah, so she's trying to like tell her, you know. I guess the theory was that Sophie was killing the people to like cover up any like type of like unfaithfulness, and then together forever. And then
they even near the end tried to get you to think it was Sophie because she's like, oh, like I love you, and the Russian chick's like, I'm scared of you, and runs away.
Yeah, they try to make Sophie a bit more of like a villain near the end of the movie. Which, speaking of which. Daytime finally comes. The hurricane's over.
Hurricane's over finally, and they run outside. The Russian chick's trying to hide from Sophie. Sophie ends up finding her.
Yeah. Sophie's like, I love you. And then Russian chick's like, I need to know, what happened?
Yeah, she needs to see the text.
And then...
So they get a brawl.
They get into a fight,
They get into a fight over the text.
And they end up in a mud pit, oddly enough.
They go back in the pool.
That was a cool shot. The pool fight was a pretty cool shot.
They wrestle for the phone. They look at the phone, and they are like, "Wait, this isn't Sophie's phone. This is Pete Davidson's phone."
Which, by the way, I wanted to laugh when they used the face recognition of dead Pete Davidson, but I was like, I don't want to laugh in a theater like this because it was a pretty empty theater, and I didn't want to ruin it for everybody.
I'm not sure why when she got Pete Davidson's phone, she immediately goes to his dead body, opens his eyes, and face unlocks the phone.
Well, okay. Let's think about this for a second here, okay? So, first thing is, she probably knew it was Pete Davidson's phone because when they unlocked it, they saw, like, probably a picture. I'm pretty sure you could see a picture of Pete Davidson on there, so...
I just don't know why she tried to get into Pete Davidson's phone.
I guess the real reason is, though, is that think about it. If Pete Davidson's dead and he was murdered, wouldn't his phone logically be in his pocket? So why is it just suddenly near the pool? Like, why is
I guess that's true.
Yeah, granted, you could argue he was on his phone when he got killed. Well, but then, you know, it's a suspicion point is. I get where you're coming from, though, because I was like, why did you feel the need to unlock his phone all of a sudden? But on the other hand, I'm like, well... If I were to be murdered in a movie, my phone would be in my pocket.
It could be evidence. Something could have...
Yeah.
So they unlock the phone, and it's a unfinished TikTok in the middle of filming. And earlier in the movie,
Lee
Pace had opened up a champagne bottle with this big sword.
Like a machete, I think it was.
And he opened it up.
And like it was super cool. It was smooth, you know.
Pete Davidson's super jealous of
so he's practicing.
Pace. And so he's practicing on the TikTok trying to cut the champagne bottle. Decides, because it's Pete Davidson, that he's going to try and do it the other way.
Instead of going like that,
he's going going this way.
Yeah.
And he fucking slices his own throat. And
then it's revealed
no one was the killer, and they all
Emma dying was revealed to just be an accident
yeah.
earlier because she took the Xanax and just fell down the stairs.
That's true. That is a point that we missed.
Yeah.
That before they reveal it's Pete Davidson killing himself, they reveal that Sophie gave Emma Xanax.
And then Emma just fell down the stairs.
Fell down the stairs.
So yeah, quite literally, nobody died by any malicious and
yeah, the Russian chick is the only one who killed. Committed murder.
Yeah, really. Well, for the most part, you could argue. Yeah, because she did. Because she pushed Jordan off the.
She threw Jordan off the stairs and she whacked Lee Pace.
Yeah, and Alice is dead, but Jordan's dead too. So there's really no justice is going to come out.
Yeah, we don't know who shot Alice. Well, I mean, Jordan.
It was Jordan. Yeah, I think she just had poor gun safety, is what it was. Well, that was extreme poor gun safety, but. Yeah, so that is the big reveal was that literally there was no killer. It was just paranoia, drugs, and all this other crazy shit that came about. Oh, and then you finally get to see Max, by the way.
Oh,
Max
and then Max comes up.
Connor fucking O'Malley.
And he's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Connor just showed up. What was even his relation to like the whole group? Was he just like a friend, or was he like... I
think he was just a friend who was just gone. They kept wondering where he was. They're like, he's gonna come back at any moment.
He probably just like went out to like...
He got caught up in the storm.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. He probably went out to go like buy another like, I don't know, like a pod for his fucking...
Something.
Yeah,
something
or maybe he went to go get... I don't know. He probably went to just go buy something from a store and then the storm hit. So yeah, big reveal was that it was just... Nobody was the killer. It was just circumstance and everyone escalated the situation. Which quite literally means... If they would have just listened to Lee Pace at the beginning, it all would have been fine. Pete Davidson would have just died. It would have been a terrible accident.
Just been Pete Davidson.
Yeah, literally this means Pete Davidson fucked over the entire fucking, like, team. He just died. He's thinking, guys, I caught myself, save me. They're going, oh shit, there's a murderer!
Yeah, because they find the...
They find the bloody machete and everything, yeah.
And so they think he was killed by somebody.
This is why, if you're ever having a sleepover, have good friends. Like, because if you don't know anybody there and someone ends up dying, then that person's automatically the main suspect, and then it's just going to get worse and worse from there. But yeah, so, I mean, my biggest pet peeve with the movie might have been the fact that it was just a huge reveal of, oh, there was no killer, and it's a good twist, yeah.
I liked the movie more after it.
It's a good twist because, yeah, it kind of makes it seem like it was just, like, wow, they were just a bunch of dumbasses.
And it's literally, they revealed the Pete Davidson thing, and then the movie fucking ends.
Yeah, they revealed Pete Davidson, Max shows up, and he's like, what happened? Movie end.
Yeah, it's like, everything's revealed, and everything starts, like...
Yeah, then you realize it was literally just a fucking, like, accident. Everything was just a fucking over-exaggerated accident at that point, but... For me, it was just upsetting because I'm just waiting for a whodunit movie to just commit and be like, no, this person is the killer. It's not everybody teamed up. It's not nobody was the killer. It's not there was an accident. It was just like, no, this person is the killer. You're going to keep guessing until the end of the movie. I like Knives Out, but I was a little frustrated that it was like, oh, it was an accidental kill. But like, you know what I mean?
Oh, they did do an accidental
Yeah, because it was literally he switched it and then she made a mistake and then, yeah, here we are. So yeah, overall, it's not a bad movie, like I said.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was not a bad movie. I guess the fact that I wasn't, like, super pumped for this movie probably, like, helped my enjoyment of the movie as well. Because I get the feeling if I was super pumped for this movie, I don't want to be mean to it, but I would probably be a little disappointed.
Yeah, I had a bit higher expectations hearing that, like, the poster was all that neon colored, it was getting good reviews.
Yeah.
And it was a horror comedy, and we don't really get good horror comedies.
Yeah, no. Days. Scream was like the last big one, and you haven't really had another like it since. I mean, you have the Scream like sequel, but that was just about it. But so yeah.
Unless you know any of good horror comedies that are really
please suggest them. We've been dying for some good. There's a lot of. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of good indie horror films like this out there, whether they're lighthearted or whether they're super cool like this. I mean. After this, we watched VHS 94, so there's that.
Yeah, that was really good.
Good shit. Check that one out, too. So,
yeah.
Overall, I'd say it was a good night. It was a good movie to watch, you know. I don't think it's gonna...
I would say that it might be better to wait until it comes out on streaming, because even though the movie was really good, once it ended, there was a part of me that was like, I wish I just waited, kind of.
Yeah, it's one of those movies.
To see it in stream.
It's probably just gonna be better to like watch when it's on streaming. I don't know if you guys want to have like an A24 binge. This could definitely be on there, or if you just want to like watch a bunch of horror comedy movies or just have a scary movie night, it'd be a decent one to start on. Movie. Yeah, it is a good sleepover movie. To be honest, it's like a movie. All your friends come over and then you all eat junk food and
then someone dies.
Yeah, it is raining outside right now.
Yeah, it's raining outside.
Just like in the movie, but yeah, go check it out if you want. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Much longer than the other ones.
Yeah. That's because I'm here.
Yeah.
You got to get all your use out of me is what's going on here. Yep. Alrighty. Well, hope you enjoyed. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Yeah.